I started to hear Katie and Abigail kind of scream and shout like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening." And then I smelled it.
I'll never forget it. I was 10 and 2 on the steering wheel down the road in Kansas City, or at least heading towards Kansas City. Never forget it.
I heard groans from the back, and as a mother, you just always try to keep everyone under control, but there's nothing I could do. The groans kept coming.
I looked over and he was bent over and I just shrieked.
I think for me, the first real indication that we had something that was going to be historic is when I heard the oops.
I don't really know. I've never smelled anything like it. Personally, that was bad. It was bad. That's all I'm gonna say.
We were just on the way to eat barbecue, if I remember correctly, and I just got in the car, and Joe looked at me and he said, "There's something we need to tell you before you join the family." And I didn't really know what to expect, and then he told me a story, and saddening for sure, but man, I just didn't know what to say to something like that, you know what I mean?
So the only word I can really use to describe the smell, it's more like an analogy to the smell that I smelt when I did early morning custodial. That's probably the closest thing I can get to it.
A polite lady doesn't talk about that.
Maybe you would refer to it as toxic. I was doing all I could to hold my breath.
Death.
I did not do it on purpose. You see, I had junk food before this, and you know how junk food can affect you. Really, it was an uncontrollable feeling which I cannot control. No, it was not on purpose.
Yes, I do think he did it on purpose.
Yes, I think it was on purpose.
Yes. I mean, I'd like to believe he didn't, but all the evidence points towards
I don't know. I kind of think he did.
Oh man, I've had several conversations with Matt about the incident. He's such a good guy, and he's exactly the kind of guy that would do his business in the back of a car just to make his siblings angry. So yes, he did it on purpose.
I don't know what's worse, if he did it on purpose or he didn't, but when it comes down to it, ultimately, I think he did it on purpose.
Well, he's just been known to do that stuff.
Have you ever had bark dust up your legs or your pants when you're doing bark dust? I'd say I feel the same thing, just on the backside. Felt terrible.
I had nothing to do with the aftermath. My aftermath was I put the Yukon in the parking spot and I exited. Come on, 7 kids. The youngest now is 11. There's no way I'm going to be involved in that kind of aftermath. At a certain age, that sort of thing is left to those that engage in that sort of conduct.
Yeah, I had to hold up the blanket while Jack cleaned him up. And I had to throw away some clothing.
Spencer was holding a blanket. I was cleaning some nasty stuff up.
I grew up as the oldest of 6 children, cleaning and swishing and rinsing. That's why when I became a mother, I went disposable.
I guess the closest thing I had to do with aftermath was alert the hotel staff that there was something toxic in the outdoor waste can.
There wasn't a clean spot on it.
I wouldn't say that it scarred me personally. I feel like it scarred a few other people more than me.
Am I scarred? You know, that's probably a little dramatic.
I try my best never to sit in that seat again, but if I have to on a road trip, I kind of sit up a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't accept a full-time offer back to Kansas, and so I mean, that's kind of saying something.
Will I ever go to Kansas City again? Doubtful.
Every once in a while, as I'm walking near certain things, I get little flashbacks, a tad bit of trauma.
I don't sit in the car. I'll stand if necessary.
Is 4th of July a favorite holiday? No, I gotta be honest. That's had an impact.
All my life, I thought I knew him pretty well, and I don't know, this kind of thing just causes you to maybe think about that a bit more.
I don't like driving cars anymore. As you can see, I ride bikes now.
Will I ever look at barbecue the same way again? Don't have much of an appetite for it. I'm more of a seafood guy now.
You know, as far as the proposal's concerned, an incident like this makes you wonder if you're making the right decision. I mean, if her younger brother was capable of such a thing, is she capable of such a thing? And am I going to be 12, 15 years down the road and hear oops in the back of the car and just realize what happened?
I would definitely say I'm embarrassed, but it's not like it can change anything by being embarrassed, so.
But scarred? No, I don't know that I'd say that.
I would rate it on traumatizing like 8 out of 10, but I would just compare it. I would just say that the fireworks weren't the biggest explosion that night. Let's just say that.
No, not the undershorts, the actual shorts.
Oh, I think I'm wearing.